tribal trails. The Son of God, He's near. He chose to walk with us these tribal trails.
Hi, I'm glad that you tuned in to Tribal Trails. Today, Rita will visit with our guests, Ken and Jennifer McEwen from Merritt, BC. Ken was born and raised in Lillooet. In his growing up years, he met with a number of challenges.
I had alcohol parents. They did a lot of drinking. I'm the oldest of 3 kids. I got a sister and brother. It wasn't a very good experience. Seen a lot of abuse in our family. The dad I had turned out to be my stepdad. He wasn't my biological father. I found at a later age that my stepdad adopted me when I was at the age of 3 years old. So then I just knew him as my dad from then until he passed on a couple of years ago. I got kicked out of school in grade 6. I didn't even finish grade 6.
Okay.
And
troublemaker.
Yes, I was a troublemaker. Yes, I was mean to the other students, mean to the girls. I used to steal their lunches. And then I would stick up for some of the kids that other kids would pick on them. Mm. And so then I would stick up for them, beat them other kids up. and the girls too, they used to get beat up too. But I wasn't very proud of that, but I guess that happened just because I had a lot of anger in me because of what was going on at home, I guess. My dad, he had a contracting business in Lillooet. And then so I thought when I got kicked out of school, I'd be safe. I wouldn't have to do nothing. Well, that didn't turn out too well. The next day, he woke me up at 6 o'clock and I went into the workforce. And I've been into the workforce ever since, all my life. From the age of 12 years old to my age now.
In construction? In
construction, I'm a heavy equipment operator. I love running the machinery. I was in the house building for a little while, but I didn't like that for some reason. So I stayed into the heavy construction and into the equipment, driving dump truck and concrete truck and cats and graders and all the heavy machinery. I liked that because I could see that I had a talent in that.
Oh.
You know, that I was, a good machine operator.
Came easy.
Yes, it came easy for me. Didn't even finish grade 6, but I guess that's what I was made to do, I guess.
Yeah.
I hit the age of 19 when I was old enough to get to the bars. So then I started the alcohol pattern just like my parents did. I was a heavy alcoholic. I drank every day, and it took over my life. At one point in time, I did leave Lillooet, and I moved to Williams Lake. And I lived in Williams Lake for 10 years. But I found myself, I was getting more into drinking alcohol every day up there. And I thought it was great when they opened the bars up 7 days a week because I could drink 7 days then.
Yeah.
I didn't have no time to rest.
It is not for kings, Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, not for rulers to crave beer, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and deprive all the oppressed of their rights. Let beer be for those who are perishing, wine for those who are in anguish. Let them drink and forget their poverty and remember their misery no more.
I've been married 3 times. My first marriage, it broke up because of alcohol.
Yeah.
And I had 1 biological son from that lady. And I raised her 2 kids. So I had three kids from there. And then my second marriage, that broke up because of alcohol problem too. So then after that marriage split up, and then I started drinking more and more and more and more. Until I did find my rock bottom. I did find it over a period of a year. I went away to a treatment center in Prince George, in the Chaco Treatment Center.
Yeah.
I did my 6-week program there in 1994 when I walked out of there.
Okay.
And then I've been sober ever since.
Did you hear about God or know about God or in any way, you know, during those alcohol years?
Yes, I did. I did learn about God, and even at the young age, because my mom was a Christian.
Oh,
So
nice.
we had to go to church with her on Sundays, me and my sister and my younger brother. But I don't know.
It never sunk in.
It never sunk into me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for me, it was even harder for me to ask God or ask Him because my mom committed suicide.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So then I thought, well, why did God take my mom away? You know, if there was a God, why did she go? So I struggled with that for years and years and years, and it still bothers me sometime today. Actually, I think we were just talking about it this morning, I think I'm the 3rd generation of Christians because my grandma Payne, she was a Christian, strong Christian lady.
Yeah.
And she passed away.
What kind of memories are you leaving for your children? Will they remember a home that's filled with love? Will those memories include much talk of Jesus, of His salvation and eternity above? What kind of memories are you leaving for your children? Do they ever see their parents bowed in prayer? Will they remember a loving Christian mother and a dad who takes the time to show he cares? Are you teaching them God's precious words of wisdom? Do they know that from sin's power they can be free? When they recall your teaching through your words and action, will the message be the one that it should be? What kind of memories are you leaving for your children? Do they ever see their parents bowed in prayer? Will they remember a loving Christian mother and a dad who takes the time to show he cares?
What about you, Jennifer? Where were you raised?
I'm from Kakhlop, which is part of the Statlium territory. And
Whereabouts is that?
in Lowit, BC, part of Lowit, BC. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have 11 communities part of the Statlium Nation.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. I can't name them all.
Yes.
But I was born in Lillooet and sent to the residential school at the age of 5. And I was there for 7 years, from kindergarten to, well, I guess it would be grade 7.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and going to the residential school is, like, I remember some of it, like, it's a totally different generation than when my parents went. Yeah. And I don't want to minimize what I went through and what they went through. But for me, there was a lot of emotional and physical and social abuse toward me. I attended St. Anne's Academy and went there every day. So we were cargoed from Kamloops Residential School to St. Anne's School every day. Going home, in the summertime, in the wintertime, not really spending time with my family. I would always go out.
Why didn't you want to stay home?
I think because my mom was so busy, because there was 7 of us, and I felt like I wasn't getting any attention.
Yeah.
And being smack in the middle, the 3 older girls, they bonded, and the 3 younger girls bonded, and that kind of left me by myself. So I went somewhere else to get what I needed from, love, attention. I got that from Adeline, and other people that would give it to me. Yeah. So then when I got older, I went to the wrong places to get that. To the wrong people. Yeah, and I ended up having my first daughter when I was 15.
Okay.
And my second daughter when I was 17.
Single mother?
No, I was with their dad for about 3 or 4 years, and then we separated. And I just kind of did a lot of alcohol and a lot of marijuana and partying and leaving my girls, leaving them with whoever would watch them.
A child left undisciplined disgraces its mother.
I was at the point where I was starting to try cocaine. It was just snowballing. I was just kind of getting out of control. A lot more drinking. Somebody come to my place 3 o'clock, and okay, let's party. 3 o'clock, whatever time they came, we would party. A lot of anger was starting to come out. And the anger that I had was just starting to consume me. The anger of, what happened to me at the residential school, the anger of my sexual abuse from one of my cousins, and the anger of just not feel like my dad was never around there for us when we were younger. He chose his friends and his alcohol over his family. So all of that
and
was
just the struggle.
The struggle of life in general and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And not having my kids, and finally I just I kind of had enough.
Yeah.
This was in January '94 when I decided, okay, I need to smarten up, and I quit drinking, and I quit smoking, and I quit toking up.
All on your own?
Yeah, all on my own, and it was 2 months later I found out I was pregnant with Braden already. I wanted my daughters back, I wanted my son back, and I wanted this child to grow up where there was no alcohol and drugs in his life. Braden's biological dad didn't want to quit drinking, didn't want to quit toking up, and finally I just moved him out.
Do they see that God is very real in your life? Or are other things more precious in your mind? Can they see in you the spirit of forgiveness? Is your attitude to others good and kind? What kind of memories are you leaving for your children? Do they ever see their parents bowed in prayer? Will they remember a loving Christian mother and a dad who takes the time to show he cares?
Do your children see that God is very real in your life? The question points clearly to the fact that we need to teach our children the truth by example. You might have heard of this before, Action speaks louder than words. This is the way the Lord had instructed Moses to teach the Israelites to raise their children. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, where Moses said, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lay down, and when you rise up." Today, our world is changing very fast. It's not easy for parents to raise their children for God, but the good news is that God has made himself available for your help 24/7. All you have to do is cry out to him. He'll answer you. If you need further support in prayer and encouragement, call Travel Trails. In 1990, Jennifer moved back to Lillooet. 5 years later, Ken went down from Williams Lake to Lillooet for a visit. They met at the bingo hall, and then they started to see each other.
He asked me to marry him, and we got married in 1997, April 1997. And that's when God started talking to me. Even though I knew about God from the St. Anne's Academy, I didn't quite understand it. So then God started speaking to me after I got married to Ken, because I knew, in my heart, I knew that once I got married, it was going to be for life, till death do us part. And I knew that it was a huge commitment, and that it wasn't going to be just, if things get rough, okay, well, I'll see you later. I knew that I was going to be in it for the long haul.
How did he start talking to you about that?
When I would see Mark and Babe, Babe Smith, I call her my sister now, but she is a missionary with NAME. And she worked with the Lillooet Friendship Center as a victim assistance volunteer, and she would teach it. And she was there one time at the Friendship Center, and I went in there to see my mom, because she worked with my mom. And I asked her, "Is my mom here?" She goes, "No, she'll be back in a little bit." I go, "Oh, okay." I sat in there, and then I looked at her, and I go, "Could I ask you a question?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I go, "What is the difference between Catholic and Christian?" I said, "I don't understand. What's the difference?" And I said, and why did Jesus die for us? Because I don't remember them telling me why Jesus died. And then she was just like, "Okay." And then she started telling me why he died, that he died for our sins. And when I was talking to her and I was asking her all these questions, and she goes, "Well, are you ready?" And I looked at her and I go, "Ready? Ready for what?" And she goes, "Are you ready to ask Jesus in your heart?" And I go, "Well, what's going to happen to my family?" And she kind of looked at me and she's like, "What do you think's going to happen to them?" And then I just started crying and crying and crying. And then I told her, I said, "If they don't come, they'll go to hell." And that's one of the biggest things that's in my heart for my family. And she goes, "Yes." And I go, "Well, I don't want to go if they're not going to go. I don't want to go there to heaven if my family's not going to be there." And she goes, "Well, why don't you be the way maker? Show them the way."
Jesus said, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven."
And then we talked about it some more, and I said, "Okay." I said, okay, I'm ready. I said, I'm ready. And I go, what do I do? And she said, we have to pray a prayer. And she led me in prayer, but she, instead of me following her, she goes, just tell Jesus all the stuff. She goes, Jen, you know right from wrong. You know what you've done wrong. And I'm like, oh, that's a long list. And she goes, that's okay. She goes, it's okay. I'm here and I'll help you. And so we prayed. She started it off. And then I started praying and I started asking for forgiveness for my alcoholism, my promiscuity, my drugging, my leaving my kids. Just the list just went on. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And after we finished, I was just so at peace. God just put such a peace in my heart.
Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful day, a day I will never forget. After I wandered in darkness away, Jesus my Savior I met. Oh, what a tender, compassionate friend, He met the need of my heart. Shadow dispelling, with joy I am telling, made all my darkness depart. Heaven came down and glory filled my soul. When at the cross the Savior made me whole. My sins were washed away, and my night was turned to day. Heaven came down and glory filled my soul.
You said you came to know the Lord, or you became a Christian. How did that happen?
Jen had a young son at home, and Jen and I got together. And they started going to the fellowship long before me because I still hated God because of what he'd done to me in the past. I thought what he did to me in the past.
Yeah.
But Braden would come home after they come to fellowship and he'd sing songs to me.
Aww.
And are you listening to Dad? I would say, yeah, but I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And then he'd come and sing. And he'd come and sing songs to me from that they learned at fellowship that day. And then he kept coming, and Jen would keep asking me, you coming? No, not today, I'm not ready. Again, she kept asking me, no. And I don't know what happened. One Sunday I was laying on the couch. Dan, God told me, Ken, it's time for you to go with your family. So I was just laying there, and Jen said, you coming to fellowship? Yep.
Oh.
And I was just that I jumped up, put my shoes on, away we went. And so I kept going to fellowship, and actually I was getting really strong into the doing leadership roles, starting to take over some of the Bible studies and stuff. And I even did a commune one Sunday for the fellowship and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I didn't want to go to fellowship no more. See, I just figured this out today coming down here. One of the reasons why I fell away is because I felt guilty because I left my kids behind when I was drinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't a father to them.
Yeah.
And so when I stopped going to fellowship, I was doing things with my older kids. Like we had a baseball team, I was playing baseball with them, I was doing things with them because I guess I thought that it's still not too late for me to try to patch up what I wrecked. And the fellowship was in my way from doing that with the kids.
Okay.
So I did that, we figured 3 years, 4 years?
Something like that.
Something like that. And then I started going back to fellowship now because I guess I figured I had mended the stuff I did with the kids.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember Zacchaeus, a wealthy chief tax collector who was despised and hated by his fellow countrymen? One day, he heard that Jesus was coming to Jericho. He wanted to see him. The Bible said that he was a short man. Zacchaeus could not see because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed up a sycamore tree to see Jesus. To make a long story short, the Lord discarded the public opinion about Zacchaeus, and he chose to stay at his house. Later that evening, Zacchaeus stood up in front of the guests and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, I give half of my goods to the poor, and if I have taken anything from anyone by false accusation, I restore fourfold." And Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because he also is the son of Abraham." Perhaps some of you can identify with our guest and with Zacchaeus. You want to start your life all over and with a clean slate, but you don't know how to do it. You need help. Give us a call. We're here to encourage you and support you in your return to the Lord. To conclude today's program, Ken shares his thought on leadership.
I had to be led when I was younger, and I looked for somebody to lead me, right? So now we've been starting to do that, and then I pray for Jen and me to give us guidance, because we need guidance in our everyday life too. You know, as humans, we're not perfect. You know, we make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. Praying, for me has helped me out a lot of ways.
Well, it's just including God in your life,
That's
right?
right, yeah. The ones I pray mostly for is our family, our grandkids and our kids. I pray for them every day. I want them to come to the Lord before, something happens to them or something happens to us.
This could be my last day on earth. And Lord, please help me remember that your Spirit's given me new birth. Help me to praise your name, even through the storms. Lord, help me sing praise to you. Help me to read your word and to understand. Lord, draw me closer to you. Lord, remind me each morning, noon and night, that I might spend time with you. For you know here on earth we fill our lives so that we drift away from your truth. Spirit, please lead and guide me. Use me each day. Give me a burden, I pray. Help me to share your word and to sow the seed